Evening all, welcome to part 2 of Prison Architect. So, if you saw last episode, hopefully you did, you'll know that this vile, deviant criminal Edward, who used to be a teacher, basically shot his wife and lover. Premeditated, he went there with a gun, and basically he's now taking the last walk. Dead man walking here, and he's basically being moved to our brand new execution wing, which very nicely has a wooden floor in it now. So yeah, this is Prison Architect, and I think it's a very strange game in that I think there's a lovely morality to this game. I think it's something that I don't think many games, if any, have got really going for them. There is the, I mean, obviously, capital punishment is a big talking point. For our American listeners and watchers, I think you probably have a very different view to how we do in Europe around capital punishment, which is banned everywhere. And I think it is no point saying that we're right or wrong or you're right and wrong, because I think there's a very different attitude to it. So anyway, we're not going to talk about that. This game, I think, has a real, in-depth charm to it that I think hopefully you're seeing here. I mean, again, here you go. You even have the ability to look at your utilities. So it's not just about providing an environment. It's actually about providing power. It's about providing water. It's about all of these things, and I just think it's absolutely brilliant. I love it. And I think as a bit of I studied engineering at university, which is one of those kind of topics that I think people would just kind of say, why? Because it didn't really serve anything. I don't do any engineering now, and I think this is why a little bit of the nerd within me is quite keen to to play these kind of games. I used to play a game called Sim Tower. If you don't remember Sim Tower, it was really old. I think you're even talking Windows 95 game now. And I played it, God, I don't even know on what. But I managed to get it working on an emulator maybe a few years back. And I had a game of it. And I must have played continually for about 4 or 5 days playing Sim Tower. And again, I love the depth that these things go into. And I always kind of measure management games by how deep they go, in terms of their quality and depth. And I think sometimes you get very two-dimensional games which look good, they seem to be good. The reality is there's not really much to delve into. Whereas you get games like this that I think really do have an inherent charm about them. And I think it's just hilarious the way that you can basically, for example, I've been playing, and I'll show probably the video, maybe the next video, but riots are a major problem in this game. When riots happen, you've got a big issue. And lately I've just had riot after riot, and what it is because they have an easy view of the gate. And when they walk from the when they walk from the canteen to the cells, they actually can see the gate, the main gate, and they see it open. They run for it and they get out. And I had like half a dozen prisoners escape because they just outran the warden and they ran straight out the main gate. Hilarious stuff, and I think it really does just make me smile the way that there's a lovely charm. And I think there's a lot to do in the game as well. I mean, obviously having to provide power and water is one part of it. Obviously, this is all around this particular, execution, if you like. And I think it's pretty, well, I don't know, it's pretty sad to a degree. You actually have to plug in the chair as well, which is just hilarious, really, when you think about it. So there we go. We have to now connect our frightening electric chair. I do hope that they give you other methods of extermination in the full game. I think gas chambers, I think rifle firing squad would be pretty good. But again, just I'm loving the characterization of it. It does remind me a bit of Zero Punctuation. If you don't know who Zero Punctuation is, it's Ben Croshaw, Yahtzee Croshaw. He does a fantastic series of videos for probably the last 4 years now. If you love computer games, you'll probably know him. If you don't, check him out. He's just the best video producer in the world ever. He's just so funny. And when I first saw Prison Architect, my immediate response was, "Oh, is he doing a game?" But no, it's nothing to do with him. But it's very similar to his stylization of characters. But again, I just think it's really good. There's certainly a lot of charm as well when you kind of have these riots going on. You're witnessing horrendous events. When you see like a group of prisoners beating up and then killing a warden, you're kind of smiling, and then you see this kind of little word say "dead" underneath the warden, and the prisoners run off, and you think, "Oh wow, that's actually quite." It's a second moment of surprise, because you're like, wow, actually that's quite strong. And I think that, again, it's a game, but when a game forces that emotional reaction from you, then that can only be a good thing. Also, while I was doing this, it was a very questionable thing to be doing. I think, basically, here we go. Oh, look, I've just literally plugged in an electric chair. How many games out there allow you to do that? It's pretty crazy. So here we go. I actually get to throw the switch as well. So I select the chair, and then basically we're looking to see if our grid can handle it. So let's see. Yep. Oh no, didn't work. Oh bugger. Oh well. So there we go. And then this is prime time for when the prisoners will riot, because when the power goes off, you've got a problem. Luckily, this tutorial, they didn't do that, but I've had other games where the power went off and then all of a sudden riots and problems and stuff, and I love the reality of it. So what we have to do here is build some capacitors to basically boost the current from this thing. So as you can see here, I don't know what I'm trying to do there. I don't know, just messing with controls. So here we go. Let's get some. Oh no, yeah, of course. When they flip, you have to basically flip the switch on them again. I love that. So it's very realistic, isn't it? And then here we go. Install 3 more capacitors. So again, fantastic kind of game where you have to basically go and build an engine generator house. Again, I don't know many games that have this level of detail. I really don't. And I think it's just charming. I really do love it. On the main road, you do have pings coming and going. So again, there is a full day-night light cycle. So you actually have an agenda, a routine, a regime, if you like, for the prisoners, and you can actually set that as well. So you can say when certain minimum security, max, and then normal security, when those kind of people interact. Obviously, you don't want maximum and minimum security in the same place, because that's when shanking happens. And I think also you need to be a bit careful of when certain regimes happen, because people, obviously, everybody wants to shower once a day, they want to eat twice a day or even 3 times a day, and if you miss some of this, your prisoners start to get angry at you, and then eventually their discord is sown. Now, prisoners can actually kick off and start fighting with the wardens or each other, but again, as long as you can control the scenario, you're probably going to be all right. This is a major kind of challenge with the game is making sure that you don't lose control completely and a full riot kicks out. And thankfully your wardens are pretty well armed. They've got their truncheons, and they're able to crack skulls basically. But again, and if they do that, you can actually throw your prisoners in solitary as well. So you can actually build solitary confinement with locked doors, no power, just not even a toilet in some case, and basically you can punish your prisoners that way. So there we go. We've now got our power back up. Again, just a lovely premise of trying to get the stuff working. And then here we go, a bit more of a flashback. So here we go. Edward, our poor teacher friend, he can't live with himself. Oh, what a shame. He kills 2 people and then he goes to a priest. Probably not the best choice. I think myself, I probably would have not gone to a priest. I think generally you might as well just walk into a police station and try and get away from it from there than walk into a church and tell them. But that's me. I love the way they've kind of drawn out the church as well. I think that's really lovely. I think they've done a fantastic job. Again, not sure why there's bars on the windows, but again, it's a beta. I think they're working on it. What does freak me out, though, is the fact that they've actually got a Christ on the cross already built into the game. That actually quite scares me pretty much. So here we go. Our priest is trying to console us. Probably doesn't give the best advice. I think if I was going to take advice from a priest, usually I'd make sure my back's against the wall first. I'd probably make sure I'm not a small child as well. Ooh, topical. But I think I trust priests about as much as maybe I would trust, a serial killer at the moment. So there we go. Poor Edward. He confessed. He then went to the police, and then instead of, leniency, they actually threw the book and then the bookcase and then the wall at him. And this is it. And so some nonsense about God being the final judgment, fair play. I don't think he does quite believe that, but and then here we go. So, you're now probably sitting there like I did, expecting this to be a a decision. A little switch will come up that will allow the player to say, oh, well, do I agree with capital punishment or do I not? You'll get a little sprite, a little icon will pop up, and it'll be a little toggle switch, and it will say, do you want to kill Edward? Yes or no. And it will be either you pulling the lever or it'll be something like that. That's what you're expecting, isn't it? Because it's what I'm expecting as well. And I think it's pretty obvious that this is coming because, again, it's all leading up to this poor man's execution. Again, the story of his life is that he was committed of a crime of passion, crime de la passion. You can't convict, surely you can't convict a man of such a thing. Well, there you go. I mean, can you? I think as the wardens get into position, you know, you're waiting for that switch to arrive. You're waiting for the option to come. He's even got the black hood on, looking a bit like the Sparked Avenger. And here we go. Poor Edward. I think his last few words. 2 counts of murder. Penalty is death. What's his final words going to be? Susan? Susan, I'm sorry. And here comes the option. Oh no, there's no option. R.I.P. Edward. Poor Edward. I bet you are like me, expecting him maybe to come up with a little flicky of a switch. Do you kill Edward, or does he become a lifelong member of the prison? Then you could be like a character that pops up, and he could maybe be the kind of guy that becomes the professor. Nope, sadly, he's dead. I love the morality of this. Nope, fuck you, he's dead. Absolutely done. He was just cooked, and then now they're scraping up what remains of him from the chair and putting him into a coffin, cardboard coffin, and then burying him in the landfill. There we go. What a heartless game, eh? We'll certainly play a lot more of this. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.